And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final Upsurge broadcast for the League of Legends week this week. My name is Orbital. I am joined here by Go4. We will be bringing you today's matchup in the Upsurge minor leagues, the winners finals here. The winner does get to move on into the grand finals. We have Goth, Boy, Clique, as well as WPV. These guys will pack. Are going to be bringing the heat today, and we're going to see who comes out on top. Go for Eno. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I am, because both these teams, they've been storming through the brackets here, because they've been 2-0 all their competition so far, if I'm not mistaken, and we are in for a match that's pretty hot tonight. Almost as hot as your PC was yesterday, I hear.
Quite possibly. I'm not sure if my PC was about to explode or not, but we'll see. It's always fun to see. But again, these two, like you said, storming the bracket 2-0, always going to be a very interesting setup, to say the least. Again, whenever you have two teams that are always untested going into the winners finals, it's either a precursor to the grand finals, or it is the all end to these teams and testing their metal and pushing it to the limit. So we will have to see what they decide to do. But again, we do have Goth Boy Clique on the blue side with Wulfpack Vengeance, I believe, coming out on that red side. So we do have the Galio and Lissandra already banned off the table. So already going for those team fight carries.
Yeah, just taking away those AoE team fight power picks that bring that insane CC, that can bring that protection. And speaking of protection, there goes the Lulu, there goes the Zillion, our first damage-orientated ban for the most part here. Gonna be that Caitlyn, who has been rising much more so in prominence in a lot of teams' drafts here, Orbital, ever since her buffs in 10-14, I believe it was. Either way, though, Ashe going to be the final ban here as the last meta 80k for the most part here. Going to be that Ezreal locked in here for the Gothy boys.
Yep, Ezreal always going to be the default if the other two are taken off the table. Again, a very safe, reliable ADC. Not great in everything, but decent jack of all trades. So, gonna be the blind pick locked in. Not gonna have that Lulu to back it up. So, expect something like a possible Nautilus coming out to pair with it. On the flip side, we do have the Lux Hover, which we've seen definitely come up in standard in terms of the support role, as we've seen some very minor buffs to her overall kit.
Yeah, it's going to be locked in with a set here. So the Wulfpack, their team comp, it can go a lot of ways here still, because Luxona, that has been a bot lane that's been popping up. It could still be that Lux mid. We don't know where Set is going, because we all know he is that triple/quadriflex supreme boy, depending on your perceived strength of him. However, he did get some nerfs this patch, so maybe that flexo potential isn't as strong.
Yep, not as astronomical as you would assume. The brawler will have to decide, as we do see the Thresh coming out. So again, double utility in the bottom lane, going to be relatively safe with some dash of aggression. Olaf being locked in here for Goth Boy Clique, just saying, all right, we want the Ragnarok, we want the Viking on our side. Gotta love that pick being locked in here.
Yeah, I mean, Olaf is just one of the strongest junglers right now in the meta. He has been for the most part this season, because he's just so rock solid. He can bring a lot of early game power to a composition. We see him in a lot of compositions where he acts as a little bit of a glue to help his team get through the early game so his scalers can come on late. Or for the junglers who kind of want to style on their opponents, who feel a little cocky, maybe a little strong in the matchup, to just try and dunk on their opponents. However, though, Zig's going to be the last lock in here before we get into this second ban phase.
Yeah, Ziggs is, with the recent buff with his passive, you gotta see him be picked up here lately. You gotta love it. Being able to demo the towers just as quickly as you want. So going to be locked in here, possible mid or possible bot lane, depending on where they want to match it up. WPV say, all right, we want to take Talia. We don't want that facing off against Ziggs. And GBC saying, all right, we know what Cassiopeia Lux can do. We're taking that off the table as well. So possibly forcing this Ziggs into that bottom lane role or mid lane, wherever they decide. But again, 3 mid lane bans, make that 4 across the board here, as it is going to be a total of, I believe, 7 potential mid lane bans throughout the entire ban phase here.
Yeah, or 8. It depends on what you're counting here. Cause
yeah, Lulu's still on the table as well. It's like, yeah.
I have seen a few Lulu mids this year.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't big. It hasn't been popping up left and right. But, it's just one of those picks that is like, you got to keep it on your radar. Be a little prepared. However, though, the gangplank here for Wulfpack does make this set look like he's going towards that jungle here. And Gangplank, of course, a very safe scaling top laner. There are, of course, some hard matchups that he will have to deal with if the Gothboy Clique do want to lock in one of the said bad matchups. However, that's something we'll have to see.
Yep, Corki locked in towards that mid lane, so potentially a blind pick mid here. Shen towards that top side. Again, Shen rising in prominence with the recent buffs and nerfs going through for random champions throughout the board. And again, we are on 10.16, where the largest round of buffs we've seen go out, as well as some nerfs to priority champions, has been showering the meta. So we are seeing some different champions. As we do see the Yasuo locked in here. So still, we do not know who's going in the bottom lane or mid lane, as that can still be a Yasuo bot if they really choose to go for it.
Yeah, Wolfpack Vengeance definitely throwing a bit of a bone our way, or at least I wish they threw a bit of a bone our way. Instead, they're throwing the bone in the cogs of our brains here as we try and figure out just where everything is going. Not saying the team comp is bad, I'm just having to wrap my head around where everything can go, because it feels like one of those team comps where there's like 2, 3, maybe even 4 possibilities of like configurements, and you don't exactly know until those picks are locked in the client.
Yeah, you really don't. But again, we do have some setup where the Gangplank, we believe, is going to that top lane against that Shen. And so let's go ahead, target focus on that matchup, because again, Yoshishi and Endpoint, these two guys are going to be facing off with 2 global heavy champions, right? One of them globally shielding and the other one globally attacking. I mean, these are 2 ultimates that have to be used in the right order. I mean, these are 2 ultimates that could definitely sway the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see, because the Cannon Barrage, even though it technically is a damaging ability, especially rank 1, the damage is lacking to say the least. Definitely needs a little more juice in the tank. However, of course, it does always give you that global AoE slow. It does give you that global AoE tempo if you use it to clear a wave, and that is one of the reasons why that Gangplank ultimate is on such a low cooldown. It's why it has such low base damages. So we'll have to see how it does work out here, because, of course, the later this game goes on, the Shen might have a little bit of trouble killing that Gangplank in that solo lane. If this Gangplank here for the Wolfpack Vengeance wants to pick up maybe a Sterix Gauge second item here, that is something you sometimes see on Gangplanks. However, though, I prefer the more manly Gangplanks who go for the crit right after that Triforce. You go big or go home on that champ.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be caught on the other end of that stick, because if you lose with a defensive build, you're just like, well, what did I even play this champion for? You know, I could have gone Ornn, I could have gone Sion, I could have gone something that actually worked with the supportive side of the utility side of the build. However, when you see the rest of the lock-ins, it looks like it is going to be Yasuo mid, so that is going to be a Ziggs Lux bot lane. Terror AP running rampant for WPB.
Yeah, and this Ziggs Lux bot lane into the Ezreal Thresh. Like, Ezreal, he doesn't exactly have good wave clear. In fact, saying he really has wave clear outside of the True Shot Barrage is a little bit of a stretch here, and he's going to really struggle in dealing with the wave control that will come out from Ziggs Lux bot. Now, I'm curious if it's going to be a Ziggs bot laner with the Lux support, or if it's just going to be a little bit more of a double AP bot style, similar to the Luxona bot that we have been seeing crop up in professional play here and there lately. I'm going to be curious about that. I'm going to be looking at that, especially when we get into that loading screen for this game number 1, and especially once we finally see those level 1 items bot.
Yep, definitely have to keep track of who is going to have that advantage and who will not. Again, very aggressive, explosive power coming out of the side of WPV. On the other, we do have that sustained DPS coming out on the side of GVC. I mean, they have the Ezreal, Corki, Olaf, Shen, you know, this constant barrage, this safety net that they want to use. So looking across the board, I do want to get your opinion here. With the record of both these squads, I mean, do you expect this to be kind of a blown out series, or do you think with these compositions, do you think it's going to be a long drawn out game and, you know, we'll see that mid to late game?
You definitely can take both of these compositions to the mid and later stages of the game, because if you look at Gothboy Clique, you of course have that double AD carry, you have a Thresh, you have a Shen that are going to be on that protection duty if need be, and those are 2 very safe AD carries, since both Corki and Azrael, they both have inbuilt dashes and blinks, so they do have that. Whereas on the side for Wolfpack Vengeance, you of course have the Gangplank, who will become that menace in terms of scaling. Yasuo, well, we all know the 0 and 10 power spike here. Once you get those 2 items, you can shred through anyone, and I mean literally anyone on the enemy team, unless they have like 5 items when you're on 2. Maybe then, maybe not, but I don't think anyone will be shredding when they're 3 items behind.
Yeah, just not really gonna be happening here. So we'll see if Scary Jerry can actually put the fear into his name as we do get into the game here shortly. Again, we are on the spectator delay to ensure quality content. So please, we will be going to a very short break. But before we do, we will have a word from one of our sponsors. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 1 between Goth Boy Clique and Wulfpack Vengeance.
Started with a vision of quality, a vision of uniformity.
We took the time to create something familiar yet refreshing, something with a bit of change.
Designed to fit any brand's unique vision.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 1 here. We are on to the Rift with Goth Boy Clique and Wulfpack Vengeance again. Goth Boy Clique will be running on the blue side to start game number 1, with Wulfpack Vengeance on the red, and both squads having that clear win condition, having those priority champions that they do want to keep track of and see how they perform. And already Goth Boy Clique wanting to go for that sneaky little invade.
Yeah, because I've had the pleasure of casting Goth Boy Clique for several of these past weeks, actually, between both Upsurge and Risen here. So they have been going for a lot of aggressive plays level 1, if my memory does serve right. However, though, they were spotted out by Endpoint there. They did go over that ward, and we can see the counterplay coming out from Wulfpack Vengeance here, dropping a deep ward of their own on that red buff. So there's a little bit of deep vision coming out from both teams. No summoners blown, no real spells blown.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, I do feel that warding inside of the red, at that point, they had a little bit extra time, you know, maybe drop it in between red and Krugs, you know, give a little bit more information of where the meta might go. However, again, getting the ward down at all is always very nice, be able to tell where the jungler is starting and where meta decides to go. It looks like he will be starting on that blue side. So looking for that fast clear with extra access to spare.
Yep. A little bit more access to axes if we do want to work the word play here. However, though, both junglers going to be starting on their top side here, so that might be a little bit interesting since they will be both on that bot side later on, and we might see a little bit of Scuttle Wars come out. We might see a little bit of 3 versus 3 action in the bottom lane if they both decide to gank at similar times. Who knows? Jungling is all about pathing, and every path is unique.
Every path is unique except when they're not. Again, it's just unfortunate right there. But again, you are very much correct. Both these guys have deviated already from their top side start. We do see Dreams going for that buff to buff, whereas Olaf is doing a complete full clear. So instead, wanting to make sure that he gets the most out of the jungle side, as we do see some trades going down early level 2 coming out of Thorn, Grim, and Superstar. So they immediately try and aggress. Nothing happens though, so they go right back to farming.
And that is kind of expected out of this bot lane here. When you have Ziggs, when you have a Lux, you can just hard shove it super hard. Like, Ziggs already can super shove, but when you combine that with a Lux support, she has fairly decent wave clear too. And then when you're against Ezreal Threshold, they can't do squat. As mid lane, Scary Jerry, he's gonna be charging up that Natal. He's gonna get it down. I don't think there's gonna be any real kill pressure here for now, but that is a very solid trade in that mid lane for this Yasuo already.
Yep, Yasuo always feared as the bully if you don't keep him under control. And we're already starting to see that Hamlet having to drop his potion very early on. Scary Jerry keeping hold of his. So that will be an advantage depending on how the trades even out here. Again, both junglers are on the bot side. However, Dreams does have the advantage when it comes to that scuttle. So that might be a big power point. Again, full clear though, coming out of meta, he will be level 4 to Dreams level 3.
And that is something Olaf can do here, although Nahor looking for a little bit of a gank here. That is going to be the Lucid Singularity into that Satchel Charge. So no real action happening here in the bot lane except for a little bit of posturing. However, though, Thongrim, if we take a look at his mana bar here, it is very low. Sure, he does have a charge of that Corrupting Potion ticking. Sure, he does have another charge to boot. But a Ziggs without mana is a Ziggs that can't exactly push. And when a Ziggs can't push orbital, well, it's a little bit of a wide P-bill sad.
He is very sad, but he does have the teleport in case he wants to use it. Hook goes wide as Nahor keeps trying to get these hooks down with that new Spirit Blossom. So you gotta love that skin line. Definitely one of the prettiest that they put out. So do you see a potential gank in this mid lane? Scary Jerry misses the knockup. So that does mean Hamlet is going to get a free out. Doesn't have to burn the flash or exhaust. That is a
That's
field
great
bet
hook.
as we do see the hook going down on the bottom lane. Thorngrim does get pulled in, but does have the satchel charge, but he blasted the wrong way. Actually blasted out to the side, so has to burn the flash. Remember, he doesn't have heal or anything, but the autos are there as Thorngrim picks up first blood, and all of a sudden, this is
Here comes
terrifyingly
Dreams.
bad for GBC. This is going to be it. Dreams comes in, snipes that last kill, and an easy 2-0 for this side of Wulfpack Vengeance.
That's the thing with this Ezreal, especially when you start that door and shield. You don't exactly have the biggest lane presence. Even after that hook landed, you're dealing with 2 damage dealers. You're not able to burst them down hard enough, and you are kind of behind a little bit of an enemy minion wave there. So we just saw all that damage just add up and up and up, and in the end, Nahor blows both his summoners, doesn't get a kill for it, and then even worse, both of these bot laners here for the Goth Boy Clique do die. And this is going to be a real feels bad man portion of this laning phase, Orbital, because Night is that he is just sitting on a tier of the goddess, whereas Longrim, I mean, he's sitting on that lost chapter, and that is always such a massive power spike for these mages. It lets them come online fairly early, gives them the AP, the CDR, and of course that pseudo mana sustain every time you level up. So Thorngrim and Superstar, they're going to be having a field day in this bot lane for the next several levels.
Yep, unless we do see Meta try and make a move. Again, Olaf, very good in the early to mid game. We want to see what he can do, and already he does have that advantage in terms of CS and levels. Up on Dreams, I believe that is over about 3 to 4 camps. I believe each camp does give 4 CS in the counter, if I'm not mistaken. So already up a decent amount of camps, but again, he has to make something happen with that lead, as it does seem that he will now be getting the Dragon. Dreams starting that one up, so it does look like Ocean Dragon will be going the way of Wulfpack Vengeance.
And of course, an early Ocean Dragon is always great to have in the bag here. Just gives you that pinch of sustain early on in this laning. It's endpoint. Gonna eat up a taunt here and a lot of auto attacks after that Shadow Dash. However, Yoshishi, of course, being on the Shen, sure you do bring a lot of damage, but it's not a ton of burst damage. It is a little bit of a burn. You do have to taunt. You have to press the Q, and then just start wailing away on them with this Empowered Twilight Assault attacks.
Yep, just trying to lay it down as best he can. Again, he is down in CS, but he does have a large wave here to try and collect on. So if he can manage that well, he should be able to collect and keep in, you know, in balance with Endpoint, who already looks like he's going to go ahead and recall and pick up his first buy.
Whew, and we'll have to see how that works out for him as mid lane. Scary Jerry, he is now level 6, and great Valkyrie coming out from Hamlet to dodge out on any potential knockups there from that Yasuo. Of course, Scary Jerry being able to get that Valkyrie out of the Corki is always a great trading thing, because it does cost him just way so too much mana. It's one of the things with Corki now where if you use that Valkyrie even once during laning phase, it just hinders your mana pool so hard. I'll have to see how it does work out, though. Is getting a lot of damage in this bot lane, however.
Yep, 9 of the Zed just dancing as best he can, but they've already lost a tower plate, so feels bad right down there as Superstar and Thorngrim again continuously push. But do you see the blast going right over the wall as Meta is going to be dancing at Endpoint now, trying to dance his best backwards. Ragnarok is on, so he's not going to be slowed as the axes easily pressure that fight, but that's going to be a possible kill as it is. Meta spent just a little too long in the cannon barrage, and that does mean Endpoint gets out with his life and a kill.
Oh, that is so terrible, because as the Olaf, you do want to make the early pressure happen. You want to put this gangplank behind, but Endpoint able to get out of that with a kill, and all it cost him was a flash there. Like, he takes that. That's a great hook in the bot lane. We'll have to see what other magic can come of it. Not too much, because, I mean, it's an Ezreal with a Tear of the Goddess and a Thorn Shield. He has no extra AD versus enemy champions, and it can be a pain to deal with.
Yep, but still very well played. And I mean, so far, the kills that have come through have definitely been because of slight mistakes. So do you see the ultimate knockup into the last breath? It means that Hamlet does have to burn the flash as well as the exhaust to keep himself alive. Well done, Scary Jerry. With Dreams just there for some moral support.
That's the thing, though, with this Yasuo, especially in a marksman matchup like the Corki. You can, of course, bully him around, since you do always have that all-in potential. It's not like the Corki really has extreme kill potential on you, outside of when he has the package, or if he's got that Triforce. Never mind that, the meta's going in on Scary Jerry here.
Yeah, that's going to be the axe blocked by the wind wall. Very well timed. It was, you know, Meta was trying to bait it as best he could and just wasn't able to. So, again, well done by Scary Jerry.
And this Yasuo just getting out scot-free during this laning phase. And even better than that, he is a 30 CS lead here, more or less. And, I mean, you have 1.5 times your opponent's CS on the scaling pick like the Yasuo. He's already working towards the Phantom Dancer or Static Shiv here, depending on what he wants to go. And that is always such a scary power spike for that Yasuo once he gets his first Zeal item complete, because it does mean he's sitting on that juicy 60% crit stat. Means his Q is on that lower cooldown, and of course he just has all that attack speed and move speed to mow you down.
Yep, it's, you know, never feels good playing against Yasuo. I don't think I met anyone that ever says it's fun playing against a Yasuo player. And now, you know, with Yone, obviously not enabled for this tournament week, but still available to play on live. We will not see him, but however, we do see top lane once again being the target of aggression as Endpoint getting jumped on here and just easily napped down. Bottom lane, we also see some aggression. Dreams easily able to make that play work from under the tower. Didn't even have to burn flash, so 1 kill apiece to each side of the team. As we do see the last breath going on the top side, Scary Jerry might have bitten off more than he can chew, does have to flash away, as that axe is going to be blocked by a well-timed wind wall. Scary Jerry continuing the aggression as bottom lane goes down at only 11 minutes. Wulfpack Vengeance definitely pushing the tempo here in game number 1.
And that's the thing when you're having to deal with this double mage bot lane and you don't have any wave clear here. They're able to get ahead early. They're able to get even further ahead just through these plates they've garnered, through these kills they've garnered. But Hamlet does have the package here. We can see potential play come out. Nahor
the Superstar is able to flash, but not able to dodge the hook. You only have 1 flash every 5 minutes. That will be an easy kill picked up by Hamlet with a little bit of an overextension from Superstar.
And what a great time to get the pick here, because as the Infernal Dragon spawns, it means you won't have to deal with that pesky Lux with her long-range CC, long-range poke, and of course, that final spark. Get yourself an Infernal Dragon here for free, since Dreams isn't going to be able to contest, not even wanting to contest. I don't blame him. And yeah, that's just going to bolster your scaling even more here for the side of Gothy boy Clique, as it is going to be that Mountain Soul Rift this game.
Yep, very happy about that. Again, we had the defensive Ocean Dragon going to one side, the offensive Infernal Dragon going to the other, and then we get the best of both worlds here with the defensive setup of that extra armor magic resist, depending on who wants to pick it up, as well as a potential shield, which honestly can negate a lot of the burst damage, I feel, coming out of either side, right? That shield can definitely block a lot of the final spark damage, the Mega Inferno Bomb, as well as the last breath, right? This could be very, very scary. However, Superstar gets caught sleeping. That's going to be the taunt coming in. Meta picks up his first of the game as well. Mid lane getting jumped on here. Hook goes a little bit wide as Thorngrim bounces himself to safety.
Oh, Thorngrim, well, definitely in a little bit of a pickle there. Thankfully able to get out with that satchel charge like you mentioned. Still, though, Superstar, you can't be donating over these kills here, because Alex support when she's behind is, to put quite frankly, not much of a champion. Because you need some AP, because you want to have some mild threat, and you want access to those levels so you can abilities, get some CR, and of course just spam out those abilities. But when you're put behind like this, it is just always such an unfortunate circumstance. As that Lex support, you're going to be a little bit of a wet paddle there when it comes to DPS and team fights. However, though, we have a Rift Herald coming out here by Wulfpack Vengeance. I don't think there's going to be too much of a contest here since they have so many people there already.
Yeah, the axe almost ticked in. However, that is going to be a flash forward. Meta has to flash away now, but that's going to be into the last breath as in goes Scary Jerry. He wants to test this off. That's going to be the Cannon Barrage dropping down. Final Spark claims another as that's a 2-for-1 across the board with Scary Jerry losing his life, but health bar is bleeding on the side of Goth Boy Clique.
And you also have to remember they were able to get the Rift Herald here for Wulfpack, so these low members aren't really going to be able to do much to stand up to this Rift Herald push here, as the plating expires right before the Rift Herald charge goes off. That is such a first world problem here if you are Wulfpack Vengeance. However, though, you're able to get 2 kills when team fight, able to get a Rift Herald, able to get a mid tower, so you're probably still at least feeling a bit fine.
Yeah, definitely feels bad. You know, hey, if you had dropped Rift Trail maybe 2 seconds earlier, you would have gotten a total of like 10 plates across the board. How do you feel about that? It's just that definitely is the first world problem of League of Legends right there. 2 towers down though across the board, 6-4 as we do crest into that, getting close to that 15-minute mark, and a about 3.5k lead in favor of Wulfpack Vengeance, who have come here today definitely looking like they're ready to play in this winners finals.
And I mean, you have to come ready to play when we're talking about winners finals here, Orbital, because you win this one, you go to the Granddaddy Smackaroo, that grand finals, and that is quite a prestigious title to even get to. Like, sure, if you lose in the finals, it does suck, but it still takes a lot of work to get there. So both these teams, I know they're both itching and clawing for a chance to get into this UML finals game here, and I'm curious to see what they do here, because take a look at the scoreboard right now. Goth Clique a little bit on the back foot here, definitely not a game-ending differential here. However, they're gonna have to make a little bit of stuff happen here, you know, inch their way back in the game, and I'm curious to see what they do here.
Yeah, they have a lot of options, right? They have the potential to have either Hamlet or Knight of the Zed really pop off and try and scale from there, right? These are 2 champions that do very well in the late game stages with their entire poke. However, getting there is the problem. You're facing off against a team that does well and excels in that mid-game area. And already we see meta getting poked out here as Dragon, coming up in 50 seconds, Gothboy Clique are trying to set up for it as best they can.
I mean, sadly, since they are having to deal with all these waves being pushed into them, they don't exactly have first priority for vision on that dragon. They do still have about 30 more seconds to deal with that dragon, get some vision set up, so it's definitely not the end of the world. It's not like they're going to be completely in the dark, and they're forced to be completely in the dark. They can do something about it. And I'm going to look at Nahor right now, see what he's doing. He's got double controllers in the inventory. He's got a sweeper lens. Don't know if it's available yet. Looks like it is. Yes, it is. So looking for that as there's the hook.
Yep, that's actually the play. A hook does miss as the flash again from Superstar is there. However, bottom lane getting dance on a little bit. Now keep in mind, Mega Inferno Bomb was used to clear a very shallow wave in the top side, so that damage source will not be there. However, we do see the jump in from Hamlet as he is trying to help that out. He is going to dance out as best he can, and they get the kill. Thanks to Yoshi with that Sandy United, they are able to pick off the Yasuo, the big ticket item that they're wanting to take out the board. That is going to be Dreams jumping in with the Showstopper, gets a 4-man Haymaker, but it might not be enough. Health bars though, extremely low. 1 for 2 across the board so far, 2 for 2 for both sides. This is looking a little bit dangerous, as now Wulfpack Vengeance have the health bar advantage. Endpoint still on the chase, looking for that barrel combo, gets a Q down. Might get some more as Knight of the Zed has to dance out, sitting just at 300 health. Barrel chain misses one more time, so the chase does not lead to more kills, but that does mean GVC have to concede this potential dragon.
Potentially, we'll have to see, because there aren't any junglers on either side here, and when you have just a Gangplank and just that Lux, they don't exactly have most DPS against objectives here. Now with the 6, it is of course gonna help as Thorngren gonna be hawking out some bombs here. We'll see what Nahor can do here, because he might be trying for a potential steal here with that tennis, but here's Dreams. He probably has a smite. Is almost a steal coming out from that True Shot Barrage, but alas, just a hair off in terms of timing. So though, overall a dub coming out for Wulfpack Vengeance, since it was even kills, and then they also get Dragon on top of it.
Yeah, so again, up in the Dragon game right now, they have the 6% extra armor magic resist. This will help a little bit, as we do see both Dreams and Superstar starting to get some MR health and magic armor in there. So, you know, it'll take some time, because again, this is why I always feel that Mountain Dragon and Mountain Soul is always seen as such a weaker side of the Dragon, is because unless you have these massive tanks setting up, you aren't going to get as much return out of those dragons specifically. So again, we see very, very little you know, defensive itemization coming out from either side, so we'll have to see if they do get some benefit.
Yeah, because obviously Earth Dragons, they're great to have. It's just when you're squishy members like this Ezreal, like this Corki, like this Yasuo to agree, and of course the Ziggs, Lux, and GP, you're not exactly going to be getting the most benefit out of those pure extra resists. Of course, you won't exactly argue against them. However, though, when you look down and you see you're just getting a bonus, 3 to 6 armor, depending on how many of those dragons you have, then it's like, all right. Maybe I could technically do without one of these. It wouldn't be the end of the world.
Doesn't really help when you don't actually have the items just yet. However, we do see some itemization coming out across the board. It's a good time to take a look as we see the Triforce finish. For Endpoint, he has almost finished his Cole as well. In that mid lane, we do see the Phantom Dancer with that run into the Infinity Edge. In that bottom lane, we already see the Leandries and Ludens set for that Thorngrim. So again, multiple people do have primary itemization done, as we do see a flash coming out. Yoshishi keeping himself alive in that top side, not taking the chance.
Yeah, because you have to keep in mind here, Yoshishi, he is a Shen going for that Titanic Hydra first. No real surprise there, because it does give you that wave clear, it does give you that extra damage for trades. However, though, it means in terms of pure resistances here, he's sitting on a Tabai, he's sitting on a cloth armor. It's not really that much when you're looking down at a Yasuo who's already fairly damn close to that 100% crit, sitting on about 90% right now, with the workings of that Infinity Edge in his back pockets. So keep an eye on that to see when Scary Jerry does finish that 2-item power spike here.
Yep, just really needs that extra Infinity Edge. He really wants to be able to duel even more. Again, he's 0-2 and 3, but any Yasuo hater knows that the damage is coming. Endpoint trying to farm up as best he can, as he's been farming up relatively well. He does have a 1k lead over his opponent, so I think that does come from his passive just a little bit. So we'll definitely have to wait and see if he can continue that advantage. He is going, as you said, going for that all or nothing build.
Yeah, and I can understand why he is, because if you go for the Sterix Gauge here, you might have trouble really taking down the Shen, taking down this Olaf, and even Nahor to an extent, and of course Knight of Zed. He did go for the Iceborne this game on that Ezreal, so it is going to be a little bit pesky to try and get through them if you're just sitting on the Sterix Gauge AD. It's definitely a good chunk of AD, it's just more so missing out on that crit. It's just, it's so massive as that Gangplank, since your barrels can crit, and when they crit, they hit like a truck, to say the least.
Yeah, never fun to be popped by one of those things. Always feels bad. We are into a little bit of a lull here, as we do see pretty much all vision condensed into the top side of that river, even though we are waiting on the dragon here coming up in another 55 seconds. But I mean, the amount of vision that's set around that Baron, you have to be wondering, right, which team will pull the trigger? Do you think either of these teams has that ability to pull an early game Baron?
It is kind of hard to call right now. They are very item spike dependent for their Baron takes here, especially when you look at Wulfpack Vengeance. Only really this Yasuo for Scary Jerry is going to be shredding through these Barons. Endpoint, most likely going to be split pushing on this Gangplank, and even if he was there at the Baron, like, it's not like he's going to be absolutely destroying it. He'll definitely put in some decent damage, but if you're just relying on that Yasuo to shred through the Baron, it's always a little iffy, because it can take a little bit. Whereas if you look on the other side here for Goth Clique, if they do get the chance, you have to remember, double 80 carry shreds through Barons, especially now that they've both finished stacking their Muramanas. They got the Manmunes, they've got their own 2-item power spikes, and of course Olaf, he's going for the Quaver. Never mind that package.
Yeah, Superstar again being caught out, but a big Mega Inferno Bomb does get some damage. Down goes the Cannon Barrage, but it's not going to be enough. Showstopper able to bring everyone back, but that's going to be the Haymaker claiming the kill on the meta. However, 2 members already down. Endpoint does flash forward, gets that kill. That's going to be Scary Jerry cleaning up in the back line. And just like that, easy ace coming out for Wulfpack Vengeance as they storm through that potential mid lane and actually ping out that Baron.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have all 3 of these 8 team members here, they can do a lot of damage to this Baron. However, though, will it be enough? Because you have to keep in mind that this is only 23 minutes into the game. These death timers are relatively low. The meta, Nahor, both of them up in less than 5. In fact, Nahor up right now. Hamlet, they're all going to be up soon. They are getting the teleport out from Thorngrim here, so we'll have to see. It looks like they'll be able to grab this before that pesky Olaf is able to come here, and that is a 5 for 2 in a team fight. You also get that Baron, and you might still be able to contest this Earth Dragon here to put yourselves on Salt Point. And boy, oh boy, Wulfpack Vengeance, they are sitting fine and dandy right now in this game, Orbital.
I mean, it looks so bad too, right? You see Superstar, he's like the bait. However, Dragon is being started up here. All 5 members are available. Remember, gold has not been spent by 3 members of the side of Wulfpack Vengeance, so they don't know if they want to take this fight. All ultimates are available for the side of Goth Boy Clique. We do see a jump over. Scary Jerry actually gets taunted up. Does have multiple shields, as that's going to be the Mega Inferno Bomb claiming that kill. They're going to get 2 dragons still being started up. That might be the smite. No. Meta is able to take it cleanly. They lose 2 members, but they get the second Drake for themselves. But I don't know if it was worth it, as they are now on the run.
Ooh, and especially when you're going to be having to deal with all 5 of these members barreling down that mid lane with this Baron buff. Of course, they don't have everyone there since Scary Jerry is hanging off on the side, but they're going to be able to cleave through these turrets. Easy lemon squeezy, and I don't think this inhibitor turret is much longer for this world, because you have to remember a lot of the buffs to Ziggs this patch were to his passive damage against those turrets, and
oh,
that's what we call outplayed.
Oh, that feels so bad too. Hamlet had just come back up from dying in that last team fight to now going back to the death screen. I think all 3 of his last deaths have literally come from the last 3 team fights. Yeah, feels very unfortunate, feels bad, man. As we do see the tower still being chunked out, Mega Inferno Bomb just to dish out some damage, as well as the Cannon Barrage. These zoning ultimates are so strong right now. That one last Baron Empowered Cannon minion just doing some work right there. And again, tower is about to go down to just enough health for the Satchel Bomb to take it away. But there they go, another catch. Not that the Zed now has to run away. Down goes the tower, as that mid lane inhibitor is now exposed.
And that is going to be a lot to contend with here for Goth Boy Clique. Thankfully, they don't lose the inhibitor, at the very least. But the problem is now is that finally all that gold that was sitting in their pockets has been spent here for the Wulfpack, and they can really use this to just shove it down the enemy throats. Just show them, hey, we're in charge here. We have the gold lead. We're going to bludgeon you to death with some gold stacks here, and there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah, and absolutely, where does Goth Boy Clique really go from here, right? I mean, these guys down now close to about 10.5k. The only real objectives that they have to their name are the 2 dragons that they got. I mean, even that doesn't do much when you're sitting at 6 towers down. I mean, what do they need to come back in this game, aside from possibly getting killed here by Scary Jerry? That's going to be a massive ultimate wombo combo missing. However, that is going to be the shutdown meta. Able to claim that one. Dreams, though, pulling him back. Hamlet falls as well, so both mid laners taken out of this engage. Bottom lane now, a little bit of a duel between the 2 top laners. So do see the siege going down on the top side.
And Yoshishi gonna be looking for this. That's another taunt. That's another orange. This might just be a battle of patience here as Endpoint. He's taking a lot of damage, but you have to remember Gangplank just gets an absolute truckload of move speed whenever he pops a barrel, which I always found to be a little bit odd because it is kind of obnoxious to chase him after he pops one of those, especially as a melee champion. However, though, he's gonna get out fine and dandy. His team gonna be able to pick up that top lane inner turret and just help him further this gold lead. Endpoint, though, do have to be a little bit careful here.
Yep. Oh, nice steal. Nahor says, all right, we didn't get much out of that, but I got the big wolf. We'll take it. That's a win.
And it is always a dub to get a little bit of a victory like that, because, you know, it always puts that mental in your opponents, and that can be big when we're talking about winners finals here. However, though, whatever mental advantage it might garner from when the rush stealing that big wolf, it might not matter too much in the grand scheme of things here, as we see Superstar just using that final spark to farm out those wraiths there, because you have to remember the final spark is on a super low cooldown. In fact, 33 seconds right now with this current build, and okay, it can't go any further, thankfully, because he has capped out on CDR, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I mean, he still has level 16, right? He still has one more rank of the ultimate, so that'll probably drop down to about 30 seconds. I think that is the lowest that you can get it if you have the presence of mind as well in the rune page, so we'll definitely have to wait and see if he's just one-shotting people across the board as a support. However, he is going the full support build. So again, that will be up to question. Dragon coming up in 38 seconds. As right now, it seems GBC are just trying their best to farm out as well as they can and try and put some items into their carries' pockets.
Yeah, and getting gold into your carry's pockets right now for Gothboy Clique, that is kind of the name of the game here. You want them to just be absorbing every wave here. Like, imagine there's just a conveyor belt. You're at a sushi restaurant, but instead of picking things off the conveyor belt routes directly to your carries here. You want to be doing that, but with minions instead of sushi here, although maybe we might get a seasonal variant one day of Summer's Rift with sushi minions. However, though, Dream gonna force out that Ragnarok. We'll have to see how this works out.
Yep, that's going to be a teleport in the back line. That might be all that they want. Flash forward coming out of Scary Jerry, and a flash over the wall as the package is used to zone everyone off. They have zoned out Endpoint. He is getting caught up. The taunt is there to get the shutdown like they want, but they trade their jungler in compensation. So that will be a hook onto Scary Jerry, but I don't know if that's the one that they want to target. Big bomb forces Hamlet to go very low, but a nice little draw means that the health bars are bleeding. Knight of the Zed is trying his best. He gets jumped on with the last breath. That will be the kills as it's 3-2 in this elongated team fight. And as it is, that seems to be the win for the side of Wulfpack Vengeance as they take the team fight 5-2.
Good lord, and if it just ended at that 1-for-1 there with that jungler for the enemy support, you would have been like, yeah, sure, that's fine. However, though, sadly, fights don't always end when you want them to in League of Legends, and that means this mid lane inhibitor gonna drop here. Might even see this top lane inhibitor drop since it's only the meta really up for now, and we see just how much damage the Ziggs can do to turrets in terms of burst, thanks to his passive and having to face down 2 waves of super minions while that Baron is up. That is going to be a nightmare scenario here for Gothboy Clique. So, I don't know. I'm looking towards you, Gothboy Clique, because like I said, I've been casting them for about like 5 weeks straight at this point between 2 different leagues, and I have seen what they can do. So I have a little bit of faith left for them here, even if it does sound a little bit biased, I guess.
I mean, for this game, we could call it bias, but for the elongated series, I think it is okay to say, you know, you have faith in the team. However, this game specifically, it does seem that they have, you know, had their game kind of read, as you might call it, as they have been caught in every which way, right? We do see Scary Jerry now and Thorngrim on the chase as the Baron is spawning. That will be up now, and once again, we will see if the global objective is taken. It has been started up. We'll have to see what GBC do decide to do. They are positioning fairly close. GP is still in the mid lane, so possibly not there, but that's going to be the last breath and the kill. Nahor just not allowed to play this game.
That's the thing, though, when you are a Thresh, when you fall behind, you still can start off fights, but you get absolutely blown up. If you get caught out, you get absolutely blown off. He doesn't even have a stone plate to his name here, although didn't even itemize that, so definitely going for something else here. However, though, we'll have to see, because there's still a jungler here. There's still Smite. There's still a Dream. Let's see what happens here, Orbital.
Yeah, Cannon Barrage is able to catch 2 members. They do get Yoshishi out of the fight, but he's going to channel this in. United as in goes meta. He's trying his best, but now they're just in the middle of the team. That's not where they want to be. Yoshishi falls for his jungler's mistake, and that means Knight of the Zed will as well. He is now running, but he gets cut down. Scary Jerry, the blade in the wind, is going to claim his 8th of the game. 500 gold bounty on himself as they push into the base.
And this has to be game number 1 here coming out for the Wulfpack here. They got 5 members in this base. They got double supers coming in. It's only Nahor and Hamlet for now. Another team member, they're 20 seconds out. That's already both in Nexus turrets. That Nexus is under fire. That's another last breath, as that is the shutdown picked up here. A little bit of silver lining, but sadly for the Gothboy Clique, they do drop you in this game number 1, and Wulfpack Vengeance definitely looking very strong. And I have to agree with you, Orbital. It feels like they just knew what Gothboy Clique wanted to do there. It feels like they just had that read on them. They were one step ahead. They saw in the future, 20 seconds ahead, 2 minutes ahead, whatever the hell you want to say. They had their number.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can cause some problems, right? Going back to the draft, it seemed that Gothboy Clique had a firm idea in mind. They drafted a team fight composition. They had Hamlet in that mid lane. They had Knight of the Zed, 280 carries, being ready to push out some damage. But it definitely seemed to falter in the mechanics in that early laning phase. They allowed too much to slip through their fingers. I mean, weren't able to set up a proper proactive mid game.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you fall behind like this because they still needed some time to scale. But when the enemy team is so far ahead, even when you do hit those points, you're still at best on even footing. So I don't know, Goth Boy Click. I don't feel like they did anything terrible this game. I just feel like it was a case of being one step ahead across the entire map that game when you're looking at the Wulfpack Vengeance squad here. So I'm curious to see if this game number 2 pumps out for us, Orbital, because I was feeling a little bit hype coming into this because both these teams have been undefeated so far in this UML playoff bracket. And yeah, like whoever wins this, you get to go to that big cigar final. So I want to see Boy Click come back with a vengeance here in this game number 2.
We'll definitely have to wait and see. Again, we will be going to a very short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with game number 2 between Goth Boy Click and Wulfpack Vengeance.
To speak, you're quick to change your mind. And I know it's me that followed you in blind. I could say that you didn't need, but you wanted me. Maybe I was wrong, even want wasn't anything. So if we had another chance, I would never let you steal my glance. Bring me back to life. Don't dig deep like you would have a clue. All I see is how I was a fool to see my heart skip beats thinking about you. I could say that you didn't need, but you wanted me. Maybe I was wrong, even want wasn't anything. Yeah, I could say that you didn't need any part of me. Yeah, maybe it's not me, you should be the one on your knees. So if we had another chance, I would never let you steal my glance. Bring me back. If we had another chance, I would never let you steal my glance. Bring me back to life. If we had another chance, I would never let you steal my glance. Bring me back to life.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we do get underway for game number 2, both teams not wanting to waste any time at all, as we are already into the pick and ban phase here. Already, we do see some familiar bands as well as some new bands coming out. Lysandra Zillion banned away once again by WPV. But we do see the Ziggs. GBC saying, all right, we realize that was possibly a strong pick that we handed over. You're not playing that one again.
Yeah, we saw the absolute manhandling that went down in that bot lane. Sure, it wasn't like they completely blew him out with kills, but they were able to get that kill lead. They were able to get that early first tower and that insta Lex lock in. Once again, here for Wulfpack, we saw how well it worked out last game outside of getting caught a few times out in enemy jungles. But what's a man to do?
Yeah, it definitely had its weaknesses, right? And that might have just been positioning errors coming out of Superstar. I think 4 of his deaths came from just odd positionings, trying to get wards without his team there, having some complications there. So we'll see if he's going to take it again and see what happens. And that is going to be the Sona Taric lock in here. GBC grabbing a little bit of a cheese bot lane.
Oh lord, and it's been a while since Sona Taric has really been a thing. I'm not seeing it too much this year. However, though, we'll have to see how it does work out because, of course, it is going to be very safe lane between all the heals, all the shields. And, of course, if they do go for that double guardian in that bot lane, they are going to be fairly safe, too. Even if you do catch out that Sona, even if you do drop Ignite on her, it can be a little bit of a tricky time killing her. However, though, they're going to be responding here with that gangplank here for our Wulfpack Vengeance. That gangplank did work out for them fairly well last game.
Yeah, they did have that wonderful time endpoint, did get ganked a few times, but he was still able to farm up. So we'll see again if he can make the same thing happen, if he's able to play that top lane to a decent standing. Again, Yoshishi might go for the Shen once again. He might not. However, we do see a very different bottom lane this time around. WPV saying, all right, let's play a little bit standard if you're going to take the cheese. Jinx Lux possibly locked in for this bot lane.
And Jinx Lux, it can bring a decent bit of range. You probably won't be having too much of a kill threat, especially against that Sona Taric, and it is going to be hard for that Jinx to really melt through all that extra armor from the Taric early on, and of course those heals too. However, though, it's not like the Sona Taric should have a ton of kill pressure on this Jinx at least, so Wulfpack here, if you're Thorngrim, you're like, alright, I can match your scaling too, since I'm on that Jinx.
Yep, always quite scary as we do see the lock-ins coming in here. Kled taken up against the top lane, so a little bit more aggressive top lane pickup. We do see, again, multiple mid lane bans coming out here. Cassiopeia, again, taken off the table. Against Scary Jerry, Talia being banned away as well. So, again, both teams saying we really don't want to give these high priority champions over to our opponents.
And I mean, giving over high priority champions never exactly in anyone's agenda, really. You want to hog them all for yourself and make sure the enemy team doesn't get any of them. But a little bit of a throwback to the last time these two teams went to the second ban phase. A lot of mid bans so far. We'll see if they do the four match once again, as there is still time for this last blue side ban.
Yep, it very well could be. I mean, there's no reason that they can't because, again, both mid laners have not been picked up yet. We'll have to wait and see. Again, 10 seconds left on that ban clock, and that is going to be the Orianna, so pretty much the exact same bans coming out in round 2.
And the Corki once again here looks like, never mind that, the Nico, who did get freshly buffed this patch on her Q. It probably won't be too massive in the grand scheme of things. Of course, having extra damage is always nice, but if I do recall correctly, it was just a little bit of a love tap of a buff.
Yep, Nico, though, locked in here, blind pick, to say the least, which is pretty interesting considering, how many bans they sent in. You would assume they want to keep it as a, counter matchup here, but they don't decide to go for it. Instead, Trundle locked in on the other side, WPV, say, okay, you are possibly wanting to round out your composition with a tanky build, so they go for the Trundle, able to have that subjugate in their pocket. And now we are waiting with bated breath to see what they take against the Nico. This can be multiple things. I mean, Syndra, yes, dropped multiple tiers on many people's lists. However, it is still an option. We will have to wait and see. 4 seconds. And it is going to be the Corki taking... All right. going back to pretty easy mode here, it feels like.
Yeah, Quirky should be fairly safe in this mid lane, especially against that Nico. Assuming this Nico is mid, there might be some little bit shenanigans here. Never mind. We have a Master Yi
Oh my
here
gosh.
for Goth Boy Clique, and when you have a Tarek, when you have a Sona, that is a lot of funnel potential here for this
Well,
Master Yi.
now, do you think that's a Sona Taric bottom lane? Or do you think that's a Sona Nico bottom lane with a Taric in the mid lane? Because that is an OG. I think that's called the booster strat, right? Taking a Taric Master Yi into that mid jungle.
It is the OG funnel strat at the very least. No, it started popping up with Chinese boosters. It was either that or like the Kale Yi. I can't remember either one. Either way, Yi is a little bit synonymous with boosters. It just so happens because when you feed him a buttload of gold, well, then he just takes over the game. However, though, it can just be a normal Yi here. We don't know exactly quite yet. We're gonna have to see where everything goes once all these lock-ins come through.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, once again, there's not that much CC coming out of Wulfpack Vengeance. So, outside of the Lux Stun or the Lux Lockdown, there's not really much you can take. And we actually get a little bit of a difference. Nico being taken into the top side potentially against the Gangplank. So, allowing for a favorable matchup, range versus range.
Because that Nico is gonna have a very easy time contesting those barrels, and of course, you can damage that GP fairly hard. It depends on what Nico you go here in this top lane. We might see on hit Nico, we might see full AP Nico, we might even see the Glacial Lockman Pocket Sand Nico come out. It kind of depends here. However, though, with Hamlet on this Kled in the mid lane, I'm very interested by that because you can, of course, just continuously hop on this Corki, force out that Valkyrie, and put so much kill pressure on him.
Oh, big scary thoughts as now the Kled is locked in. This is a little bit interesting. You stated that you have cast Goth Boy Clique for quite some time now, and I gotta get your opinion. Have you ever seen a composition like this put together in one of their series?
No. That is the short answer.
Just
The
no,
long
just
answer is
no. I don't know what's
no.
going on here.
Because I've never even cast a team comp like this. I feel like Master Yi in the jungle alone without the funnel. That's weird. Tarek Sona, that was a big thing last year, if I'm not mistaken. Has not been as much of a thing this year ever since all the funnel nerfs. Never mind that. It's actually going to be Nico in the mid with that Kled in that top lane, it looks like. We'll have to see because there is still some time to trade here. And of course, the spectator client, it can always be a little poggy-woggy.
Just a little, but again, no pure funnel with Taric in that mid lane, so we'll be, standardized at least in these solo lanes. But again, taking a look at these comps, I mean, we only have a few minutes to talk about it. I want to get your opinion. I mean, looking at the lineup, GBC, do you see some win conditions that will work in their favor?
I mean, obviously, you got a Master Yi. If that Master Yi comes online, well, that is one hell of a win condition, because what do you do to stop this Yi? Your slows aren't going to work. A Trundle Pillar, it'll be a mild inconvenience, I guess, and then there's the Jinx Traps and that Lux Snare. That isn't really too reliable, so if the meta does pop off on this Yi, well, it might just be a buffet deluxe coming out for this Master Yi in the jungle, because no one's going to be able to stop him once he pops that ultimate.
Oh, that is a scary thought once again, and we'll just have to keep eyes on that. But on the flip side, we do have the gameplay Trundle, Corki, Jinx, and Lux. So again, a fairly standard composition coming out here. Now, I do want to get your opinion for the Wulfpack Vengeance as we do take down. Do you think they have what it takes, especially after game number 1, to take on this composition built by GBC?
Well, one of the things that did help them win that game number 1 was just how dominant the bot lane was. So this time around, Thorngrim on that Jinx and Superstar once again on that Lux. I don't know if they're really going to be able to dominate the bot lane like they were able to last game and generate that just continuous lead in that bot lane. And then, of course, Dreams on the Trundle. Not exactly as flashy as the set, of course, and he won't be able to set up those dives as easily, even if you do pop the Subjugate.
Yep, that is a very nice point. So we'll have to wait and see if either of these squads are able to pull out a win here. Again, a win here for Wulfpack Vengeance would mean that they are into the grand finals, and GBC, if they win, does mean they push it to a game number 3. We'll have to wait and see. However, before we go into a break, I do want to talk about one of our fantastic sponsors, Kono. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals, from keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more. Our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the world's best gaming peripherals around. They have been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pools. So, if you're looking for some brand new peripherals, go ahead, check them out at kono.store and use the discount code UpsurgeGG for 7% off your first order, such as one of their new mechanical keyboards. With that, we will be going into a very short break, but when we come back, we will be on to the rift for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we do get underway for game number 2 here. Thank you so much for waiting with us as we are onto the Rift with what looks to be our most spectacular draft yet of the UML. We have a Master Yi in the game, we have a Tark, we have a Sona, and we have a Nico. All on one team, by the way. That is not on separate teams. That is all on one team.
Definitely a lot of uniqueness here. However, though, it looks like we're going to get another level 1 invade here. This time, though, from Wulfpack. Let's see if they're able to pull this off. Yoshishi, gonna be able to spot that out. Just gonna skedaddle on out. He still has the flash if need be. He has the dismount, so let's see what happens.
Yep, gonna burn the flash early. Just say, all right, not taking that chance. So you go ahead, burn that flash, and, you know, are happy to take that win.
And that is always nice. It does mean Yoshishi gonna be a little bit more vulnerable on that Kled. It does also mean he won't have that flash to use aggressively either, and that might be the biggest point here when we talk about the Kled versus Gangplank matchup here, because Gangplank, he doesn't exactly have the strongest early game. Sure, he can be annoying with those grasp parlays, and then, of course, with the barrels, zoning out a lot of melees. However, you have to remember Yoshishi, he's on the Kled here. Kled has so many natural tools to just get on someone, stick on someone, and keep following someone here, and he can do a lot of damage.
Yep, he definitely can, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Again, he wasn't able to start Bear Trap, I don't think, which is his main clear potential. So, gonna start with that charge forward. We'll definitely have to see how that affects his jungle or his laning phase here against the GP. And that is gonna be Master Yi starting on the bottom side. So both junglers are starting on their blue. Gonna be starting out and hopefully ramping up to their respective sides.
Yep, and ramping up is definitely one way to describe the meta right now on the C, because I don't think we're going to see too much action from him in terms of lane interactions early on, unless he sees a free gank, because have to remember, Master Yi, of course, he has 0 CC, he's all about damage, he's all about hitting those spikes and scaling up, and the most we might see is maybe a 1 versus 1 between him and Dreams for a Scuttle or a Dragon. But I'm not really holding my breath for too much else here on this Master Yi, at least until that level 6 mark when he gets that Highlander.
Yep. Gotta wait and see. And again, already we see Thorngrim and Superstar just shoving in this bottom lane. It's to be expected. It's against a Sona Taric bottom lane. But again, this bodes very disadvantageous results if Master Yi is not able to gank this bottom lane, if he's not able to apply any pressure, because that just means a free lane for Thorngrim and Superstar.
Because that's the thing, although that is a great stun. That is tower aggro, actually, onto Superstar. That's going to be half his health already taken off thanks to that tower. They might not have kill pressure in this bot lane orbital, but of course, when you're level 2 and you eat up 2 tower shots, it's going to do a lot of damage to anyone, really.
Yeah, feels bad, just, oh, yeah, this thing that literally one-shots me if I'm level 1, yeah, I'm not standing there. So, already gonna be getting that win. Endpoint on the top side is getting jumped on. He actually takes a couple tower shots. I think he took 1, as that might be a kill. Endpoint very happy about this trade. He has to flash away, but Meta is here for the cleanup. Gonna try and teleport his way out. Might be able to get it. Meta does actually teleport, not with him. I thought that was gonna be an Akali-like matchup there, but he does not get the kill, so Meta has to cry about it on his way back into his jungle.
Yeah, and before we get into any more action of this game, I do want to give a quick shout out to XNLC Esports for giving us the raid here. Much love to everybody over there. They all put in a lot of hustle, as that is that and Nahor. They are going to be looking a little bit feisty in the spot lane, not super aggressive. The light binding going to miss. Superstar just going to be throwing out some spells here for a poke.
Yep, gonna be poking ever so slightly. Mid lane, Scary Jerry getting shoved in. We saw the same problem actually in game number 1 as well, with Hamlet actually winning out in a lot of those trades in the early game. So this time, or actually getting shoved in, very sorry. So this time, Scary Jerry is on the receiving end of that pressure. Definitely have to wait and see how that one plays out.
For sure, because there's going to be a lot more to digest this game, because we already had so much to digest in the Champions Select Tier Orbital, and now imagine how much we have to deal with once we get into game.
Yeah, it's one of the things that, you know, is very interesting to me is the fact that this game is going at such a slow pace, right? Usually when you have a Master Yi and a Taric in one game, usually it feels like an accelerated pacing, right? Usually it feels like these matchups go at an explosive pace. And now it's just very quiet overall. You know, we don't have that massive kill, you know, that bloody game that you normally see in the solo queue matchup. So, you know, do you think we're going to get this explosive setup, or do you think it's still going to be very calm for the next couple of minutes?
Outside of top lane, I definitely feel like it's going to be fairly calm. Hold that thought, though. That is a bit of Caster Curse.
Yeah, that is very much a Caster Curse, as it is going to be Knight of the Zed falling to first blood. Can't even burn the flash. Definitely feels very bad.
That is the thing, though, with the Sona Taric bot. Sure, they do have a lot of heals, they do have a lot of shields, but they don't have a lot of inherent mobility, so once you drop that pillar down, it is a little bit hard to deal with, and getting first blood onto this Jinx is kind of a scary prospect here, Orbital, because you have to remember, Jinx scales up hella well into the late game. Once she hits that 3-item point, she can absolutely devastate anyone. Getting Infernal Dragon to boot too will help with that scaling factor just a little bit here. Probably won't be the biggest deal for at least the next 20 minutes, I want to say. However, though, I mean, he'll take it.
Yeah, definitely take it, definitely. Whole Dragon does go over to the side of W. Wulfpack Vengeance, very sorry. as it is going to be Master Yi just trying his best. Meta did this in game number 1, and I guess it helps a little bit more in in the second game with the Master Yi. He is going for that invade, trying to get some wins in the camp score. However, he is only 1 camp up. Last time around this time, I think he was up around 4 camps, I think was the count. So not as good as previous.
Bear trap on a low does land. Here's the meta.
Yeah, that's going to be endpoint, possibly getting jumped on. That's going to be the Q going in, and he does pick up the kill. Meta is going to collect an assist for that as Yoshishi is able to claim a kill.
And that's pretty big, because of course putting Gangplank behind, always very big. He did go for the call here too, so of course that means it's going to take longer for him to finish stacking that. It means this Clique going to be able to catch up in the farm, catch up in the gold thanks to that kill, and of course getting a little bit of gold in this Master Yi's pocket for the meta. Well, that's just always scary, because we're hyping it up a ton in Champion Select here Orbital. You have to remember, there isn't a lot to stop this Master Yi from the meta if he does get going here on the side of the Wulfpack. So even getting a little assist like this in his pocket this early on, that might be a slight red flag. Definitely not the end of the world, but something you'll be keeping your eyes out on.
Yeah, I mean, can we really call it a lead when it's only like 200 gold up? Let's be real here. That is still, though, again, the assist is nice to have. We'll definitely have to wait and see how that one plays out. He is up about half a level. Superstar is dancing up, as it does look like Nahor had to recall, so that is going to leave Knight of the Zed in that bottom lane alone. Again, level 6 is coming online here very shortly for both teams in the bottom side, whereas mid lane, Scary Jerry being forced of all his mana as he gets rooted. And again, little wins here coming out for Hamlet in this mid lane.
And you have to remember, Scary Jerry, he's going to be having to rely on that flash. Hamlet does have some kill potential on this Nico here. He already has that last chapter completed. He, of course, has that Pop Blossom, and that does a lot of damage. I think we've all been on the receiving end of a Pop Blossom at least once in our strenuous low careers here.
Yep, never feels good. Again, the amount of CC that you can output is ridiculous. And again, you don't want to be caught, as we do see the recalls from both mid laners. Teleports are not available for anyone on either side, so if any plays are made, it will be with the global ultimates or a roam. Endpoint getting jumped on here, half his health taken away as Yoshishi says, all right, I'm now back in this game. I'm down 25 CS, but I got the kill, so our gold is pretty much even, only 300 gold apart. But Endpoint looking to put a little bit of a dent with that coal. However, again, flash burned as we do see the ultimate going in. Endpoint goes very low, shotgun, able to take that one away. Yoshishi says thank you.
And that's why we were looking towards this. Never mind that package coming out.
Yeah,
Yoshishi's just gonna drop.
Yeah, Jerry just says, all right, I'll take that. I'll take that freebie.
Yeah, but you're able to draw out all that pressure in the top lane this early on as Yoshishi, and that's a great sign here if you are a Kled player, because sure, it is technically a 1-for-1, but you're denying your enemy lane opponent. You force the mid laner to run up. Use the package 2, which is on a hefty cooldown. It's, what, 8 minutes between packages or 5 minutes? I can't remember which one it is. However, though, of course, that is just always so massive. And Yoshishi, he could just keep looking for this all-ins, because Endpoint, he's going to be atomizing that Triforce first. It's not like he's going to have a ton of armor, a ton of health to really deal with any all-ins here, and we even see a potential lane star coming out. This might just be temporary, however, just Endpoint coming to this mid lane to make sure they don't lose too many plates in this mid lane.
Yep, just doesn't want to give Hamlet any extra gold. Again, no kills to him, but up in the tower plate count. So that is going to mean that it's only a 400 gold difference in favor of Scary Jerry. Across the board, it's 1k lead for the side of Wulfpack Vengeance. So again, they're not doing too bad for themselves. They kept the Master Yi down to an extent. He hasn't had any good engages, and he's not been able to steal away as much as he would hope. So doing very well for Wulfpack Vengeance. Again, Scary Jerry, though, just to update you on what that was, it's actually every 5 minutes after the first 8. So 8 minutes for the first package, 5 minutes after that. So again, we're gonna wait maybe another 2.5 minutes, I think, is all we're gonna have to wait.
Okay, I'm a little used to ARAM timing here where it's every 3 minutes. So
ARAM OP.
It should be every 5 minutes on ARAM, and you wouldn't get it till 8 minutes, so you would realistically only get like 2 packages per game. And that was awful as an ARAM player who plays basically exclusively AD carries. However, though, we have a teleport coming out from this gangplank. There's the charge.
Yeah, the charge is coming in right into the cannon barrage. All 4 members are there. That's going to be the Cosmic Radiance coming down, only catching 2 members, and that might be the chase that they want. The turnaround is there. Final Spark lands on everyone, but the kill goes through. Knight of the Zed able to claim 1. There goes the ultimate. Knight of the Zed only catches 1 as well. And that's going to be a nice little chunk, but for everything thrown at each other, only 1 kill going over, as that's just Endpoint, who has already died twice.
Oh, might see a little bit more action here. That root actually lands.
Yeah, stun doesn't go through though. Yoshishi trying to get Scarl back. Big damage. Dreams almost taken out. Gets the shield back, but is going to be chased down. Hamlet goes in and is able to pick that one up. So that's going to be 2-0 in this team fight. But no, Scary Jerry and Superstar say, all right, we'll take 1 back. Master Yi, you won't get a kill today. Scary Jerry dancing around as best he can. Is going to have to flash away. Almost takes out Sona. So the damage coming out of this Corki is starting to ramp up.
That's the thing, though. I mean, you have to remember, it is technically against the Sona here, Orbital, so a bit of a glorified caster minion in terms of base stats, especially. However, though, 2 for 1 in the favor of Gothboy Clique. That definitely is a nice change of pace here in this game number 2. When you compare that to the game number 1, where they were just kind of losing here and there, and it just added up over time. However, though, this Earth Dragon already being started up by a Wulfpack. We'll see if there's any contest here, because the meta is way far out. Yoshishi is in the area, but he doesn't have sight.
No, he doesn't. That's going to be the dragon taken, but they might lose some of their lives. Yoshishi goes in, gets stunned, and he has to run away now. Rest of the squad is out. Scary Jerry is able to go over the wall, actually gets the bush for a little bit of extra safety. As they run away, that will signal the Ocean Dragons will spawn from here. A potential 4 Ocean Dragon take by the side of GBC.
And in the long run, that singular Earth Dragon and kill in exchange for 2 kills, it might just pay off more so for the side of the Wulfpack here, because you have to remember it does put him a dragon closer to that elemental buff, to the soul buff, and that is always so huge. It is the Ocean Dragon in this game, which is arguably the strongest in the game. In fact, a little obnoxious by most standards, just the amount of dummy healing it can put out, because you already have the healing from at least 2 Ocean Dragons, maybe 3, maybe 4, depending on the game. And if you just add in just how ridiculous the healing you get from damage on that Ocean Dragon is, that is so obnoxious to deal with. And even if you do have a Master Yi, even if you do have the Kled who has that built-in Grievous Wounds, and the Yi who has all that insane damage, it might be a little bit hard to break through that Ocean Soul.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't have any damage on the E to start with, how can you really count that? I mean, he is sitting at 0-1, not really anything else to his point. Do you see a trade going in on the top side? So both top laners trading back and forth, but, you know, I feel like I'm, you know, kind of hitting my head on a rock here over and over again. Meta
I don't know why you have
found
a
any
rock in the
kills.
room.
Yes, I actually do. It's very interesting.
It's a little decor choice. I personally keep a bed in my bedroom and a few shelves to store my figures, but hey, to each their own. It's not hurting me. Probably hurting your mental a little.
My mental's already solid from the years of solo queue, as we do see the Rift Herald being taken by Dreams. Here might be taken in the top side, as we do see Thorngrim on this bottom side just trying to clear waves back and forth. Top lane definitely looking like it's the target of aggression for Wulfpack Vengeance.
And if you're Wulfpack here, you do want to target that top lane, since Endpoint, he's been having a little bit of trouble on this gangplank here. Of course, that's the nearest lane for this Rift Herald to be plopped in. That's a great route. That's a great ulti. Never mind that. There's the Alpha Strike, and thankfully this time the meta, he was in the Alpha according to Riot's code, so gonna be able to dodge out a bit of extra damage there.
Yep. Always an alpha, or sometimes never an alpha. We'll have to wait and see, as we do see Nahor getting jumped on as the Trundle rushes forward. Nice farming up by Thorngrim. Grabs all that CS. He is amazing. He's already up, what is that? About 70 CS over his lane opponent.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember Knight of the Zed, he does have the Spell Thieves here, so he's
Yeah.
not farming every minion he can, so grain of salt with this CS lead, although granted, you have to remember it is the Jinx into a Tark Sona lane. They can't exactly pressure you, so it is free farming. And Thorngrim, even going for the super greedy Mana Moon Jinx build this game, it is something we've been seeing on some more AD carries lately, since it is such a gold efficient item. If you do manage to stack it up, it gives you an insane 3 damage item power spike. And then even in the late game, if you want to, you can just sell it for another pure damage item, since it does technically fall off on most 80 carries and marksmen around the 5th or 6th item mark. But let's be honest, Orbital, how many games do you really see going to that 5-6 item mark unless one laner happens to get dummy snowballed?
Dummy snowballed is, at this point, I feel the correct term. However, I think this is one of those games that very well might happen. I mean, both sides, you know, had that potential for pure scaling. It has a potential to run the long game, especially if you're trying to bank on the meta getting big, being able to be granted the Cosmic Radiance, as well as all the healing abilities going through, right? So, I mean, the potential to see 5 to 6 items out of all of these champions is so very, very real and scary, I think. So, you know, we'll have to keep track. See who comes up with that. Dragon coming up in about 40 seconds. The side of GBC so far, they have found the fights, but they have not found global objectives, so it feels like fighting for fighting's sake. Do you think they have what it takes to be able to claim this dragon?
Well, it's definitely fairly even footing here, because take a look at the items here. It isn't too huge of a difference here. Most members fairly even. Never mind that. There's the charge.
Yeah, Dreams actually tanks it up for his team, but immediately gets ulted. He gets the flash out and is able to survive. That's going to be Cannon Barrage holding it down as well, as bottom lane tower goes down for GBC. They lose that safety, as now the rest of the squad is there. Scary Jerry does get slowed up by the Glacial Augment, has to flash away as well. Meta actually follows forward, so this might be his first kill that he wants. That's going to be the smite going down. Big damage coming out as the burst is not enough, as Meta gets his first kill of the game.
It does cost a lot from this Master Yi, however, because he did have to blow his flash. He did have to blow the Highlander, and he won't be having those for this up-and-coming fight. However, though, that was a 300 gold bounty. There's a 600 total gold for that kill. You force a 5 versus 4 here at this fight, and let's see what happens.
Oh, big wombo catches for Pop Blossom OP as the Cosmic Radiance continues to keep everyone healthy. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't find anyone, as Yoshishi just says, all right, let's tangle. You lost your Jerry, you lost your Corki, and that just means you're dead. Endpoint falls his 4th death of the game, and just like that, GBC say we're not out of the series yet.
And that is a great pickup there. It does take a while, though, and we even see Scary Jerry's back up. Yoshishi has a flank here.
Yep, they do find it, but he gets back on Skarl. No kill right there. And Knight of the Set is able to survive as well. Another teleport coming in. Yoshishi finally falls, but the health bars are so low right now. That's going to be another catch. That's going to be a double kill. Jerry gets revenge for his earlier death. What is this fiesta going on right now? Health bars blinking for the side of Wulfpack Vengeance, but deaths on the side of GBC mean that the gold is still in the court of Wulfpack Vengeance.
And it looked like it was Gothboy Clique's fight there, because they got that early advantage. It was 2 for 0, and like, yes. And then Yoshishi, he was so close on that flank there, Orbital. Like, you saw how low some of his health bars were. Sadly, not able to secure it there with that pocket pistol. But speaking of pockets, there's the Pocket Sand coming down the mid lane, gonna force out the orange from endpoint on this gangplank. So nothing too much coming of it. However, though, no one was able to pick up that dragon ultimately in the end here. So we might just see this whole rodeo done once again here.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all. We are waiting on the Cosmic Radiance to come up, though. I think that's still about 20 seconds left on that ultimate. Outside of that, all ultimates are pretty much up. And I mean, the fear of the bush ganks is so much worse now with the Ocean Dragon up. Do you see it started up here? It is going to be drawn away just a little bit. It can't be dragged into the bush, so it is going to be just right outside. It is sitting at about 3k. This might be the time as a Skarl charge comes in. It is taken away. That's 3 dragons to the side of Wulfpack Vengeance, but they get caught once again. A massive wombo combo signals the win. They have it down to a science now, as once again GBC find 4 kills as they push down through the mid lane.
And they don't call it a goddamn pop blossom because it tickles you here. Or Orbital, great googly moogly. Hamlet able to just absolutely decimate everyone there. Sure, you lose the dragon, but it's a 4 for 0. This Baron is looking like primo grade A beef Angus steak here, as You got 5 members wailing away on it. Sure, the enemy jungler is up, but he doesn't even have his smite. He would be having to go in alone, just running through everybody. He's at a 2-level disadvantage too, if we're talking about smite fights here, so not even going to be throwing that out. As Goth Clique, they show they got some life in this game still. They just got to worry about maybe that next dragon potentially.
Oh, not at all. I do definitely agree with that, as we do see the Baron going over to them, and now multiple members online. I mean, Hamlet, we saw him in game number 1 have some decent, holds on that Corki before. This time around, he is now on this Nico, is sitting at 3-0-5, and so far has been the one to make the plays. This man cannot be stopped on this champion.
For sure. I mean, that's the thing. When you get the package, like, it is just such a potent zoning tool, and healings and shielding, be damned against it, because you can melt through even tanks' health bars with that. However, that's on a 5-minute cooldown. That's just a little bit under Flash. Actually, no, it should be the same as Flash, because Flash is a 5-minute cooldown. Thought it was 6 minutes for some reason, but hey, sometimes we have a little bit of mental poggy-woggy on the desk here. Nothing new. However, though, will that be enough? Playing around those 5-minute windows, I don't know, because the meta on this Master Yi, he's completed his 2 items. He's 2-1-3. He's still farming up a storm here, and it's only going to get scarier from here on out here if you are the Wolf Boy. Or Wulfpack Vengeance, not the Wolf Boy Clique. Would like it if we did have 2 clicks on the Rift this time around. Sadly, that won't be the case.
You really want to try and dance those team names around? That would be a little bit harsh for us, I feel. Oh man, as we do see, the hop over the wall, Knight of the Zed is going to be with this squad, and once again they are trying to knock down this free gold, as it does seem for the first time in quite a while we actually see GBC with an advantage in gold as well as pressure.
And they can really push this home here, Orbital, since you do have that Baron buff. Sure, you are pushing into double AD carrying, that can be pesky because they are able to deal with Baron buff fairly decently well. But it does mean you're going to be able to garner some more advantages for yourself, hopefully knock down some of these turrets. And meta, we see him right now in the mid lane. That is one thing about the Master Yi here. You can, of course, make him become a split push threat. Granted, it can be a little bit rough if he's your split push threat and there's a Baron halfway across the world. But sadly, well, thankfully here, if you are the Goth Clique, no Baron to worry about.
Yeah, nothing of the sort, as we do see the poke coming out as much as he can from Scary Jerry. It's just healed up. Pretty much off cooldown. And the mid lane looks like it's going to be the pressure point. Big barrel chain catches onto 3, but that is going to be the root as well. So that is going to be Cosmic Radiance not finding all the members. Pop Blossom being flashed forward and multiple flashes right back out. They are going to find the junglers. Junglers both go down, and that means free reign for Thorngrim. He's just dancing forward. In goes the Super Mega Death Rocket. Does catch some extra damage. Flash forward again. And the QSS to boot. Thorngrim is popping off here. 3-1, 4-1. For the side of Wulfpack Vengeance, as out of nowhere they find the fight and they find the kills that they need.
And Goth Clique, they get a lead, they throw a lead. Like, you hate to see it here, honestly, because just got too thirsty for that fight there. It looked great at the beginning, but you have to remember the Cosmic Radiance only lasts so long. Once that wears off, your teammates very vulnerable to being blown up. We saw the meta get in way too ham there. Sure, he's able to secure a kill, but you trade 1 for 1, and this is a negative Baron power play if I ever seen one. You're the ones who lose that inhibitor. Thankfully, you don't lose your base. There's a teleport coming out from Hamlet, however, and another one coming up from Yoshishi. Look for the magic.
Yeah, they really want it. However, he is a lone Pop Blossom going into the Zanyas. The OG play does claim 2 members as Dragon is coming up. So, however, that is the only first Dragon for the side of GBC that they hopefully will collect here. Flash forward, flash for flash in that lane as the pillar is going to section off the advance. So that will be 2 kills going over to the side of GBC as they look to try and get their first Dragon of the game.
And this is the action-packed game we're looking for. That's a great tangle route into the little Q there coming out from Hamlet. However, though, not able to secure anything with that Blooming Burst. That's enough. However, this one might just get it. There goes the rings.
If this game is, oh my gosh, if this game is won by either side, it's going to be off the back of either Scary Jerry or Hamlet. Both these guys are playing so well right now. 6-2-3 for Scary Jerry, 4-1-8 for Hamlet. And these guys are absolutely playing out of their mind.
I mean, why wouldn't they be playing out of their minds here? They got this far for a damn reason here, Orbital. There's a reason why they've stormed through the bracket here, and sure, there's still technically a loser's bracket that you can drop to here, and you can still fight your way, but you're one step away from the grand finals, and let me tell you, that is one hell of a motivator for anybody.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if this is any time to show up for your team, this is it. And again, Scary Jerry, we're starting to see the damage output. He has a finished Trinity Force. He has the Mana Mute in his pocket, and he will very shortly have that Infinity Edge as well. Sitting on 1300 right now. I think he can actually go back and purchase that Infinity Edge, so he is going to be at a 3-item Power Spike. Yes, Hamlet also got it, however, only finished these onions very recently. But you see the charge coming in here, dashes over the wall, and that's going to be the signal, and catches 4 member with that stun. That was a beautiful play from Nahor and the rest of the squad, as that is an easy pickup. Another root comes out as Thorngrim is rooted up and killed. Meta is able to help with the assist. He charges forward, continuing that fight. Alpha Strike into the kill. 4 kills for 0 in favor of GBC.
And that is the beautiful team fight wombo combo we've been seeing come out from the Goth Boy Clique all game long. You press that charge, you can't do squat against that. We see Dreams always having to walk forward, just take that for his team, but just absolutely melting through these enemy members. You can't do squat. Scary Jerry, he's going to meet out Yoshishi here and nearly take him off that mount. However, not able to do that, and he's looking for the inhibitor here. That would be a decent trade here for this Baron after the loss of that team fight. It looks like he is going to get that. He does have that Triforce completed and a lot of extra AD in the tank, so that is very easily picked up. However, though, you have to remember you are losing a Baron for this, and you might just be in a little bit of a pickle here if Yoshishi is able to get onto you. This Baron picked up here for Goth Boy Clique, their second one of this game, and I'm looking for a little bit better of a Baron power play this time around, Orbital.
Yeah, that would be the hope, at least, right? That would definitely be the hope. Just like, listen, we dropped 4 members in the last time. We had some issues. Let's not do it again. Let's really not dive a tower when we can't get the Cosmic Radiance on you, and 2 of our members are stunned in the backline. Let's just not have that happen. That is what they are hoping to not have happen. And again, they want to charge down, break open this mid lane. They have so much standing gold. 4 outer towers are available for them to pressure. They now have the itemization that they need. And again, the healing is just too much. Yes, the soul is not in play, but with Sona and Tark on the table, it's just so painful to cut through this Master Yi. And again, we have to keep track of Hamlet. He has been the engager for the squad every single time so far.
And why wouldn't he be? I mean, he's literally the Collide here. You use that charge, just hop on that backline. You're gonna have the Dazzling Gleam following you to get that free stun. After you get that free little, just hop on someone there. And standing gold seems to be the name of the game here for the side of Goth Boy Clique, as they are looking to grab up that outer turret. They do have to be a little bit wary about that mid lane, at least send someone there at some point here, deal with that. But doing a 4-1-0, definitely not the end of the world when you have that Baron buff, as spreading the love around in many lanes as possible. That is always a nice thing to have.
Yes, it is. We do see Scary Jerry sitting on the backside, throwing those missile barrages as much as he can. So they're very happy about that current setup. As we do see the mid lane having to be cleared out here. So this trade so far is working in favor of Wulfpack Vengeance, as they're only down 2k. But with the constant threat of the mid lane being shoved, it does mean the side of GBC have to constantly go back and clear.
That is always the pesky thing to deal with when those inhibitors are down. It's so annoying. Thankfully, though, I mean, you do have the Baron buff, so you can be looking to force your will around the map here, and forcing their will happens to take the form of clearing out these wards in the enemy jungle. Definitely applaud that, since about half a minute till that next dragon you can set up in this bush. Great Lucid Singularity coming out from this Lux Superstar. Just scout out that bush, although they might not know this. They're coming around the flank. We might have a little bit of action here at Orbital, because there's a lot of tension in the air right now.
It really is. Packages on Scary Jerry, so a play has to be made if they want to utilize this damage. They're all into chokehold, so this could be very big. Nice route into Final Spark, does catch multiple members. Cosmic Radiance does go down, catches 4 members on the side, but Meta, no, that's actually Hamlet in that shifting form, and they burn multiple ultimates. Big ultimate caught. Hamlet now is in a bad and dangerous spot. He gets a plot bustle, but it's only on 1 member. They caught someone. No, he is able to get away does get the root down on the backline. Flash over the wall. Scary Jerry takes out his counterpart, and that is going to be the kill that they want. Meta now on the run. That's going to be big rockets coming out of Thorngrim, and that just might be the fight. Wulfpack Vengeance find the pincer that they want and have a free push down the mid lane with super minions to boot.
Oh lord, and what a great team fight. Dub coming out there, able to catch the enemy team with their hands in their pants there. That was an unworded bush. Beautiful pick off there. You force out the Cosmic Radiance, you force out the Highlander, and you knock Yoshishi off his mount. They can't do their little wombo combo. You got super minions coming in. You got double 80 carry. You're looking to take down the game here, but let's see what they're able to muster here from the Goth Clique.
Yep, that is going to be the first tower going down. The rest of the fight is there. Nahor getting burned down by the Corki, and that's going to be Knight of the Zed falling as well. A delayed ace comes out, as that is going to be the series win for Wulfpack Vengeance.
And it was a hard-fought game number 2 there, but taking a 2-0, that is always dominant, because you have to remember here, the Gothboy Clique, they were also storming through the brackets, Orbital. They were also getting those 2-0s and looking like they're on fire, but sadly, this is the nature of playoffs. One team will go on, the other team will drop. Thankfully for the Gothboy Clique, there is that losers bracket. They do have potential for the comeback here. However, though, I mean, if you're on the side of the Wulfpack here, you're feeling fine and dandy after that 2-0.
Yeah, big win for them. Game number 1, they played with the Lux and the Ziggs in the bottom lane. They applied pressure through there. In this second game, it was really on Scary Jerry. And I mean, excuse me, both games, it definitely feels like the teams know what they want. And Wulfpack Vengeance definitely drafted well to accent their strengths, it seems like.
It definitely did work out for them, whatever the hell they did, because they were able to take the series. So props to the Wulfpack Vengeance gang here once again.
Yeah, definitely a big win. So let's go ahead. We are going to be closing out for the night, but last little question here, just touching on it. Multiple members on the side of Wulfpack Vengeance have done so well. Who do you think comes out as the MVP for this squad through this entire winners finals series?
I feel like it's a hard call because I feel like all of them definitely did put in the work. All of them were clocking in 9 to 5 here, and none of them were really slacking for the most part. Sure, they might have not reflected in the score lines here, because if we look at Dreams, sure, you look at it, it's 4 and 9, but you have to remember he was kind of on that frontline duty, taking a lot of damage, and in the end, it is a team game here. So I guess I'm going to be spreading out my MVP vote. A little bit of love here for all 5 members of that Wulfpack squad.
All right, well, there you go. Little bit hard to lay it down and see who gets the MVP. However, we will get to see and see who shows up in the grand finals for the side of Wulfpack Vengeance. However, for the side of Gothboy Clique, they will have to take their chances in the losers bracket and see how they fare next week. See if they can make a run to have a chance at Vengeance in that grand finals. However, that will be it for us here on this broadcast for the Upsurge Minor League. My name is Orbital. I was joined here by excuse me, Go for Eno. We have had a fantastic time here on the broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a fantastic evening.